time to review Iwrestledabearonce, Hail Mary. Iwrestledabearonce are definitely one of my favorite bands in the industry today, mostly because they're never willing to just sit back in some sort of comfort zone. They definitely keep within the same style, but they're constantly just progressing that style and that sound from their first album to their last album, Late for Nothing, where you see this huge transition. And it felt like, as I described in the review, that it felt like basically they had put on suits. They were going to work. They're adults. They've grown up. It lacked that kind of childish behavior of their first album. Their second album kind of saw some of that, but still was kind of stuck in that juvenile era. Their last album was definitely a lot more grown up. They brought in some pop elements to them. There were the catchy parts, melodic parts that we hadn't really explored before. It was also the introduction of Courtney LaPlante, who took over for Krista Cameron. And, you know, that album I was a little bit worried that she would kind of try to emulate Krista too much, and it would come off a little bit weird, kind of like Spencer Chamberlain on Under Oath, They're Only Chasing Safety, where he was trying to emulate a Dallas Green versus, you know, do his own thing. And, you know, fortunately my worries were unfounded because she did a tremendous job on that album with her vocals. In some ways, I feel even exceeding Krista. Now, this album, which is titled Hail Mary, is their second album with her. And while the last album, like I said, took some kind of melodic, poppy elements to it, this just goes straight heavy, straight hardcore. We've got, you know, these technical breakdowns. We've got these blast beats just coming at you. There's just her vocalization is just so raw, so dirty, just so heavy at times. It's tremendous what she can do with her voice. But yet, at the same time, every time you're expecting it to just, you know, hit you in the face and just keep heavy, it never becomes tiresome because they change it up. There are some melodic parts in here. There's songs like Doomed to Fail Part 2 where you get this just when you're getting kind of tiring of the heaviness and you're kind of like, well, I wish I'd hear some of her clean vocals. That's exactly what you're hit with, and it's great. And then right when you're like, okay, I've had the clean vocals, it goes right into the next song, which just hits you so hard. It's probably one of the heaviest songs on the album, which is called Killed to Death. And it's just this relentless, just brutal song that just keeps, you know, grabs a hold of you and just never lets go. You know, it's so heavy, and, you know, there's a lot of times on this album in general, it almost sounds like a clusterfuck of sounds, but yet underneath it all there is that melody, and you do get this real cohesiveness to everything. It just works so well. Now, if I do have one kind of criticism of this album, it's that, particularly for Iwrestledabearonce, while it is probably their heaviest album that they've ever done, it kind of lacks some of those random fun moments that have kind of made the band and established the band as who they are. You don't really get that a lot on this. There's a few of those moments, but they're really not developed as much as they are in previous moments. And while some people may see that as childish, and that they should stay stuck with that, I think it's something that kind of really set them apart as a band. It was something that made them different. It wasn't really gimmicky. It actually a lot of times was fun. I mean, there were some weird random moments, like kind of the Elvis-y surf rock kind of part. You know, that ain't them dogs' real voices, where it's just kind of weird and out of place. But there are definitely a lot more moments in other songs that it just fits, and it, like I said, it does give the band that kind of edge to them, and it sets them apart from other metalcore acts or mathcore acts or whatever you want to define them as. Really, there is no definition for Iwrestledabearonce. They kind of just throw in elements of everything, but this album kind of holds back from that a little bit. It just would have been nice to see that and used and progressed a little bit more. But I mean, overall, this is just a fantastic album. If you're looking for something that's just heavy, this is where you're going to want to go. And at the same time, there's still a ton of experimentation that just keeps them on the edge of the genres here. You know, I definitely think Courtney LaPlante has one of the best voices in the industry. You know, not just for a female vocalist, but for any vocalist in the industry. Her range is just fantastic. It's chilling at times how good she is. You know, as far as recommending this to people, I would say they're still kind of a hard band to get into. They are very they're not for everyone. If you're somebody who does find themselves liking mathcore, metalcore, and deathcore, and you're looking for something that's just a little bit different, off the beaten path a little bit, I would recommend them. I probably wouldn't start you with this album, but this is a fantastic representation of the band and what they really can do and how much talent they have. So I would say definitely, you know, if that's something that interests you, go out, get this album, take a listen to it. I really think that, you know, you should recognize this band as, you know, something that is more than just the silly kind of name of I Wrestled the Bear Once.